You are not allowed to be doing maintenance on a property at 6 a.m. when the walls are paper thin. Do you realize that? Did you just stick your tongue out?
That's all I got.
That's all I got for you. But the judge is going to tell you that you can't do that.
I don't think sticking out your tongue is on the books.
No, your reaction. What are you going to do? Stick the tongue out at the judge?
I just might.
She said that she's just going to stick her tongue out at the judge. This is the kind of professionalism we're dealing with.
When you talk about your health, I suspect one of the things that you can do to make yourself healthier is get MANULIFE out of your lives.
Yes, this is difficult for him, but I have no doubt that he has the capacity to instruct me as his lawyer.
No, that's great. And the other thing I was going to say is, when you talk about your health, I suspect one of the things that you can do to make yourself healthier is get MANULIFE out of your lives. But let's see if we can do that today.
And you can see in her rationale letter, I've written many rationales in my life on defending why I'm not going to give somebody money. And it has to be good. Like, it has to be a good rationale. It has to cover everything. And hers, even going above and beyond what the doctors said, like you remember her rationale?
Yep.
It was, like, I would have fired her right there and then if I was her employer. I'm like, you cannot be talking to clients like this. Like, what is this?
Here we have MANULIFE's own internal psychiatrist who states, and this is the last opinion we have in the file, so that's the last opinion, and it comes straight from MANULIFE, and there's a whole other topic about the disclosure of that report, or rather the lack of disclosure.
Michael can agree or disagree with me in a moment, that you should disclose your level of desperation, because if they think you are hungry, they will try and starve you. So I don't think we should go to them and say, this man is desperate for a settlement today, because then they will think they can get away by starving you or dragging it out. So I'd rather not subject you to that.
I would actually kind of like them to do that, because then it just makes them look worse and I have more evidence against them.
The whole PR thing sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So I represented a guy a number of years ago. He ended up getting, unfortunately, purely fluke. He worked for Toronto Sun. He was a maintenance guy. He ended up getting flesh-eating disease. He fell into a coma. He lost both of his legs, most of his stomach. They had to be amputated. All of his fingers, and suffered some brain damage because he was in a coma for a long time. And his company, MANULIFE, denied his benefits. And then he ended up with no legs and one hand missing, protesting outside MANULIFE's building. This is probably 25 years ago. With a sign that said, MANULIFE did this to me. And they're still in business. So I'm not sure the PR thing is that effective for them, because they have seen tragic stuff.
Well,
Ted is a lawyer for MANULIFE. He's the only gentleman with a tie on today. And Danielle is an executive at MANULIFE who is Ted's client. Between the two of them, they make the decisions for MANULIFE.
Neither Danielle nor myself were involved in the decision-making that occurred with regard to this claim at its inception. We have reviewed the claim, and we have made a determination have to follow through with the policy itself, and those are some of our strictures. So we're going to do our very best today.
So and I've convinced them to make a first offer. So their first offer is $5,000 all inclusive.
Pardon?
Their hope is
right. I understand. $5,000?
$5,000 all inclusive. Right.
Which is really pathetic, because I don't have time for this, and they don't either.
The $2 million is beyond what they will pay. There's no doubt that
that is as well.
Oh yeah, $2 million. There's literally been in the history of the country, I think, one case at that level.
Okay.
They don't believe that you're the one who's going to blow the roof off and change everything. They don't see your case being outside the normal parameters.
So they're not even worried about it. I think this goes above and beyond what they're capable of understanding.
I don't know how worried they are, because we're not their last number. So
Yeah.
I know they're way more than
$5,000.
I know
What do
they're
you
way
think
less
of
than
that?
early,
Do you think that's funny? I think that's hilarious. I think what I've done is I've shown them something that makes them look like a fool, because I've asked for only 2 years of income for one employee at the company, and they're now they're making themselves look even more foolish by considering everything down to $5,000. And I think it just shows what kind of people these are.
I'm not sure that other
Please, you're a mediator. That's my response. Ask
Yeah.
them if that $5,000
Hold on,
is
so-
in line with their values at Manulife. It's very different. One thing, people are struggling right now. The whole world is, to pay their finances. And if they think for 1 second that their insurer is going to treat them the way that they've treated me, no. In fact, everybody that I've talked to cannot believe that all of this has happened. And I have facts on everything. I keep everything. I have recordings, letters, everything's in writing, all of it. Everything I've done to make it completely, I've made sure that they're completely aware. No one can say, oh, I didn't know. None of them can say, oh, I didn't know. No, it's over for them. I know what I deserve. I know that things that they're using to create budgets is obsolete, and I'm challenging them to reshape their budgets. I'm challenging them. And we'll let the judge decide, and we'll let the public decide, and we'll let the public decide how much Manulife is worth.
Part of your challenge, though, is you got to wait to get to court, and I know you.
And I might die in the feckin' face of it, too. And if that happens, then that's another pill they have to swallow that's going to be really big and unfortunate.